Alright, today we're going to be using clay and we're going to be making something called a pinch pot. So if you've never used clay before, clay is a product that comes from the ground. It is made of decomposed rock, so very old rock mixed with water. The cool thing about clay is that you can mold it into different shapes, then it's heated very, very hot and it becomes hard permanently, almost like glass. So once we make these, you won't see them for a little while. We're going to heat them. It's called firing clay, and I'll tell you more about that later. And then they'll get painted and eventually you'll take them home. These are some examples. This one has not been painted, but it has been fired, so it's not squishy like this clay anymore. It's pretty solid. It's hard. If I drop it, it would break. These are some examples that have been painted, so after they came out of the kiln hard like this one, we put something called glaze on them, which is a paint made from glass, and when it is heated it turns from a chalky color to a bright shiny glassy color. We're going to try to make one of these out of this lump of clay. So it is already a circle for you, and what we have to do now is make a hole. You can make a hole with your thumb, or what I like to do is I take one of these clothespins and I press down into the clay. I usually like to hold my clay in my hand, and I'm just going to push down with the stick into the middle of the clay. Can kind of rock it to make a big hole, and I can sort of feel it when it gets close to my palm of my hand, and that way I know not to push too hard because I don't want to make a hole in the bottom of my sphere. So now I'm going to put my thumb inside of this clay circle, and I'm going to start pinching down here at the bottom. So I don't want to pinch way up here at the top. That's not really going to do very much for my project. It's just going to make the clay really thin, and it's still going to look like a circle. I want a big pot, so I want to pinch down at the bottom because that's the part of the clay that we want to start moving. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my pot. So this is my pinching hand, the one that I use a pencil in. This hand holds the clay and turns it while I'm pinching, so I can pinch it all the way around. And sometimes you'll get some little cracks in your clay, but that's okay. You don't have to worry about those too much right now. You can also put it on the desk and start pinching and turning this way if that is a little more simple for you. And I'm still not pinching at the very top. I'm pinching in the middle now. So I pinched at the bottom. I'm pinching in the middle. My hand got tired, so I switched hands. The last thing that I'm going to do is pinch at the top. And then usually if this is too round, I tap mine on the bottom of the table to make sure it sits flat. Once you have your pot made, it's called a pinch pot because we made a pot and we did it by pinching. Now you can decorate, so you can use things like marker caps. You can push them in lightly and they'll leave a design. So this one's leaving a circle. And I'm going to make a little dot design inside of each of my other circles. I could draw a heart inside of here. The last thing we do for our clay pots is we write our name on a piece of paper because I will not know whose is whose unless it has a name. So you're going to write your name on a piece of paper. If you have a class code, you can write your class code. That's usually your teacher's name and whatever grade you're in. And then fold up that piece of paper. Put it inside your pot so I know that this pot belongs to you. And then you'll carry it over to the tray where we're keeping our clay for the day.